Hello everybody and welcome to the next episode of What If Sonic the Hedgehog Died. This is a series where we explore how events would have changed in the games if during the ending of Sonic Adventure 2 it was the Blue Blur himself who gave his life instead of Shadow and the knock-on effects that spawn from it. So far we've seen that the teams in Sonic Heroes have gone down slightly different paths, but as they begin to interact, the differences become more and more apparent. Let's see just how far the changes can go. But before we do, if you've been enjoying this series and want to see more, please leave a like and subscribe so that you keep in touch with whenever new stuff come out. And if you want to help me, please share this video around to those you think might be interested. Now, let's get on with the show. We join not our heroes on their adventure to chase down Dr. Eggman, but instead head towards the quaint town, Emerald Town, located near the beach during the day. Tails has been operating in his laboratory here for quite some time now, getting used to the locals and being a handyman for the town. And at this moment in time, he's currently flown atop a water tower, of which he's tinkering away, as a familiar mailman calls up to him from below. "Hello there, Mr. Prower." "Oh, hi Mr. Reed. What can I do for you today?" "I'm just delivering some mail with your name on it. I'll just put it at the front door of your workshop. What's it you're doing up there anyway?" "Oh, I'm just fixing up the tower for everybody. I heard people keep complaining about how it's losing water and I haven't seen anyone do anything about it in the last week. So I thought, why not?" "Oh, Mr. Prower, you shouldn't have. You're getting compensated for this, surely." "No, this is all just in my free time." "Mr. Prower, please, you do too much for us as it is. The least someone could do is pay you for a job well done." It's fine. It keeps me occupied, I suppose. I don't mind it, honestly. Anyway, let me join you. I've just about finished here." And Tails cranks some last bolts into place before flying down with his propeller tails besides Mr. Reed. "Well, if you're here, you may as well have it now." And he hands over a small parcel wrapped tenderly with rope. "What's in there anyway, if you don't mind me asking?" "Just something for a project. If you come with me, I'll even show you." "I wouldn't decline an offer like that." And the two of them walk down the road until they get to Tails' lab, a nice yellow-orange building in the shape of his own face. Approaching the door, Tails simply rests his palm against the frame. "You right there, Mr. Prower? Need a hand?" "This is just my security system. Observe." After a moment, there is a clicking sound. "Master Prower, recognize." And the door retracts in rectangles, some shifting up and some shifting into the ground, until eventually the entrance is open. "Blimey, didn't realise we had doors like that." We don't. This is my own creation." And Tails confidently walks in, arms swinging a bit, as he enjoys showing off his works. Mr. Reed cautiously steps in, looking over in wonder as he enters the interior. "Whoa, what's all of these?" Surrounding him in this lab of Tails are numerous creations, most of which are not finished, but still look impressive nonetheless. A glass container containing what seems to be some sort of recycled Eggman robot, a table with a bunch of pieces scattered around, but in the center, something beginning to resemble a really small orange robotic fox is in process of being assembled. There are numerous blueprints laid out on the tables, and nearer the far end of the room, a bunch of screens with complicated calculations processing on them. Tails sits down at one of his tables as he begins unwrapping the parcel whilst Mr. Reed approaches him. "This is all your stuff? And you still have time to help out the town?" "Like I said, it keeps me occupied. I've got lots of ideas and it's nice to be able to test them out in practical ways." "And I thought I had it bad every time I had to do my file reports. Jeez." Tails finishes unwrapping his parcel and brings out a strange cylindrical device with a couple blue glowing lights on the sides. "What's that supposed to be?" "This is an improved battery that I managed to order online. I've got this big long-range radar I've been trying to use to detect trouble, but it's been falling short recently. Hopefully, this will do the trick." Tails goes over to one of the computers and pulls out an empty slot. where he inserts the new battery and closes it in. With a click, the system resets, and once it turns on, Tails starts getting all sorts of notifications of greater range and detection. Yaha! It worked! Now we can see what's going on out there. Mr. Reed just looks at the dazzling lights on the screen with no actual clue what's going on. But Tails takes a breath. How has he amassed so much under my nose? Ah, I've got to take action, quick! Oh, something wrong, Mr. Power. Sorry, Mr. Reed. I've got to go. I'll show you around a different time. And Tails ushers Mr. Reed out of the door. Well, okay then. Thanks again, Mr. Power. Once he's gone and the door's shut, Tails runs to the second story of his workshop and grabs his controller, pushing the button, sending a signal off to his distant lab in the Mystic Ruins. Meanwhile, out of a hatch in the roof, Tails jumps up and starts flying away. A minute or so later, the sound of rocket engines can be heard behind him. He stops spinning his tails and allows himself to fall, landing perfectly inside the pilot's seat of the Tornado 2. He grabs the control stick and heads towards the sky. I'm not gonna get Eggman get away that easily. Elsewhere, a haunted castle takes place in the mysterious realm of the unknown, where our heroes have stumbled in, chasing Dr. Eggman's escape. Team Chaotix are shifting through strange corridors, mysterious portals, and mundane boxes on the hunt for a set of keys that will allow them entry to the Grand Castle. Hermit crabs, keys, all the robots. We're doing a lot of busy work for not a lot of pay. The menial tasks are but the steps to our greater achievements down the line. Yeah, you said we get paid big time if we find a client. Yeah, the client. Another source of problems. In a different spot, Team Dark have approached one of the main walls of the castle, seeing no obvious way in. I don't have time to climb around all of this. And there's not enough ground for me to run past either. There's too many bottomless pits. I shall create an entrance. Omega pulls his hand back and slams it into the stone surface, shattering it and digging in a little bit. He then retracts his claw and fires a missile into the opening he created, blasting it completely, collapsing in and forming a small cave-like entrance into the castle proper. Structural integrity of this opening is low. Recommended haste. Team Dark file through. Soon after, it collapses behind them. You're really useful, you know that, Omega? I function to serve. Wow, would you look at this? If it was a bit more bright, this could actually look kind of cool. They're in a courtyard, a couple dying trees and old relics of a past time. However, at the top of a small staircase is a strange spherical object that hums a slight blue glow. They all approach. What on earth is this? Readings inconclusive. Rouge's eyes glimmer in a similar blue as she absorbs the sight. It looks kind of valuable. Let's see if we can take it with us. She grabs it with her hands. What? But the glow envelops all of them, and they suddenly feel a whole lot lighter. What's going on? Minus gravity detected. The three of them are all flung up into the sky, or so it would seem, as gravity reverses, and they come slamming into what was once an overhanging ceiling, but now becomes the floor they stand upon. Oof! Hard landing. Up ahead of everyone else, Shadow's currently engaged in combat with a large Eggman robot, an egg hammer, with a powerful weapon of the same name. It swings into the ground, shaking off broken stone and dead leaves up as Shadow hops back, using his quick speed to charge in, jumping up and kicking it across the metallic face. Its head barely budges though, as it swings down again with its hammer to squash Shadow in the air. He manages to grab the side of the handle and uses it as a vault to spin away to the side, bouncing off against the wall, heading straight back towards the giant machine, but it then spins its arm with the hammer around in a circle, batting Shadow like a cricket bat away from the machine. As he skids to a halt, he glares at it. Useless heap of metal. Suddenly, things start levitating off the ground, including the two of them. Shadow looks around in surprise, but instinctively flips around and engages the thrusters of his shoes to maintain his position. Meanwhile, the egg hammer is sent hurtling up, or should I say down, towards the new floor, smashing with its weight against its surface and breaking on the impact. Shadow descends gradually. Works for me. He skates on, but now his new position puts him at the window of a strange manor house. He spins through it, shattering the glass, entering this antiquated and abandoned interior. He sees a glowing blue sphere and ends up smashing it, assuming it's one of Eggman's creations, but instead it resets gravity back to its proper form, sending him to the foyer below on the nice carpet. As a result of this though, back outside, the Chaotix are slammed down into the earth, completely unaware as to why the gravity keeps switching. Vector crashes through a pile of boxes.
What's going on around here?
I'm dizzy.
Strange spirits are at work. Ah, my back.
Vector reaches behind himself and finds a key pointing into his scaly back.
What? A key?
Hey, you found it! You really are a great detective, Vector, Charmy says jokingly.
Save it, Charmy. Now we can at least move on.
And move on they do. All the teams in their own way make it past Hang Castle and into the Mystic Manor, traversing through its ancient cavernous halls. Rouge uses her flight to avoid most of the hazards, and Sonic, trying to keep up, starts swinging off of the chandeliers hanging above, tricking off them with each leap. Omega follows suit, but his far superior weight causes them to snap off the ceiling and smash onto the floor, starting a fire that begins to spread around the building. The Chaotix, meanwhile, find themselves in a strange circular room filled with large paintings. Charmy admires some of the flowers depicted on the closest imagery and puts his hand to it, but strangely the surface sticks to his glove, and whilst he's trying to figure out what's going on, Vector notices a strange glowing sphere in the middle of the room. He and Espio share a glance, but seeing no other way out of this place, they decide to touch it to see what happens. They immediately turn around to hear a scream from Charmy as the painting shifts, revealing that the giant robot next to those flowers is now in fact very much real. And Shadow finds himself in some sort of underwater aquifer, a cave network somehow built underneath the manor itself, grinding across some rails whilst some remnants of Eggman's robots still try to destroy him, but they provide no challenge. Once he gets to the end of this, he finds a very interesting operation. There are a handful of Eggman robots trying to burn paintings, but unlike the rest found within this building, these ones show a very different striking image upon them. Fish-like battleships across a blue cloudy sky are on these paintings, and the robots seem very diligently trying to burn as many as they can. There are no other signs of activity beyond them though. Shadow, once landing, destroys them all, and walks up to the painting. He's suddenly pulled in, trying to resist the gravitational forces at work, but to no effect, as he's suddenly yoinked through the painting and into another location. Team Dark were actually moments behind him and witnessed what had happened.
That was Shadow, right?
Yes, he must have figured out a way of chasing Dr. Eggman. Quick, to those paintings!
Affirmative.
And thus Team Dark rushed through a different yet similar designed painting themselves. Thanks to the guidance of their client, Team Chaotix also find their way to that room and enter through one of the paintings. As a result, all of the teams arrive in the Egg Fleet, a series of giant battleships hovering over the surface of the Earth. Their presence detected, the Doctor decides to greet them all.
You fools must all have a death wish. Witness this invincible battleship, built by the hands of a genius. Its power, unmatched throughout the universe.
Shadow smirks.
I'll show you what the ultimate power really is.
And spin dashes down the battleship, heading straight towards critical reactors. Team Dark follows suit with their own. Rouge talks to the team. Okay boys, usually I ask for restraint, but this time, go wild.
Alright, let's get this party started.
Initiating party mode.
Omega instantly opens up the panels of his body to reveal an arsenal of weaponry and lets loose, targeting any turret, robot or vital machinery in sight, as a devastating series of explosions go off, followed by the blue streak of Sonic spinning through. Elsewhere, the detectives are given a slightly different objective.
You're almost there. Very good.
Try and go in undetected. You're going to need to find a secret way.
Once we start a job, we finish the job. That's our policy. Alright, SBO, lead the way. We will be as silent as the night.
The upper atmosphere of Earth, usually left undisturbed by the goings-on of its inhabitants, today is alight with explosives and flame. Cannons of battleships fire upon each other, trying to destroy the small collection of fast figures darting through their surfaces. Security gates are busted open, robot hordes are dismantled, turrets destroyed as the ships begin flaming, their order in disarray. And yet there is only so much impact a small collection of heroes can cause to this large fleet. The true way to put an end to it all is to destroy the commander, Dr. Eggman. But as the heroes progress through these battleships, a storm also approaches towards them. Dark, black, and thunderous. A heavy wind and rain begins to envelop the battlefield. Soaring through the air thanks to an exploding reactor of a battleship, Team Dark seem to be colliding towards the largest flying fortress. Woohoo! Now that's what I call a party. Starting to feel like for you a party means shooting yourselves out of anything you can.
Affirmative.
They manage to land on some rails and begin grinding their way down towards the proper interior of this giant fortress. Shadow, meanwhile, uses the power of Chaos Control to freeze time, allowing him to cross more safely onto the fortress. And the Team Chaotix got on back of one of the flying small predator birds and crash land towards the fortress themselves. They each make through with their own difficulties, laser walls, bottomless pits, sections of the ship being jettisoned, but they make it and progress ever closer to the central command tower. Observing the grand battlements ahead from the watchful eye of the tower, a robed figure cackles. Gets up with the swish of a black cloak and heads down to make battle. Shadow is the first to arrive, launching from a cannon and landing onto a long platform, the storm in full swing as black cloud surrounds his vision. But raising from an interior spot onto the surface is a giant golden robot equipped with a large lance and a thick shield.
Doctor, at last, you're out of places to hide. Enough of this. Shadow, time to meet your maker.
Shadow skates forward towards the Egg Emperor. Its thrusters engage, lifting the giant machine off the ground as it floats back, creating some distance. He swings the lance and it shoots projectiles towards Shadow, golden energies of vertical or horizontal arcs. But the ultimate lifeform manages to slide under and trick over them with ease, gaining on the Doctor.
Take this! Take this! Your tricks have already gotten old, Doctor.
Shadow leaps up and performs a homing attack towards the machine, but it raises its shield and bounces him back.
Oh, nice try, Shadow.
The sound of whirring metal can be heard to the sides as turrets accompany the Doctor and start pelting the platform Shadow runs across. He leaps between them, dodging the explosions, but as Eggman sends more blades of energy towards him, it starts getting very complicated to avoid taking a hit. Shadow brandishes the green Chaos Emerald.
Chaos Control!
He freezes time, simplifying the matter somewhat as he dodges between the stationary attacks and leaps up onto the Egg Emperor's surface, pelting it with as many powerful Chaos Imbued strikes as he can before time resumes. Holding on to the surface of the Egg Emperor machine, he grins into the cockpit, waiting for the machine to explode. But that does not occur.
What? Trying to use your Chaos Control again? Did you really think I wouldn't have prepared for such matters?
The Egg Emperor swings the lance across its surface and it bats Shadow back onto the ground.
This alloy is superior to anything you can dish out. I've gathered enough data to determine your maximum damage. Good luck, Shadow. You cannot defeat me as I am now. Impossible. I'm the ultimate life form. Nothing you could create can stop me.
Shadow flings a Chaos Spear at the shield, but it disperses, like dust in the wind.
And now for your curtain call!
The robot points its lance forward, thrusters engaging at maximum speed.
Charge!
The giant machine moves forward like a speeding bullet, straight on course to skewer Shadow at the pointy end of the spear. But before it makes impact, a barrage of missiles, bullets and lasers crash into the side, wobbling its trajectory and causing it to end just before Shadow.
What? Who dares?
Flying in the sky around Shadow and Eggman is Tails in the tornado too. Shadow! I'll give you some support from above! Shadow snaps out of his stupor.
Huh? Tails? Looks like I'm not in this alone after all. Thanks for the information, Doctor. This changes nothing!
And Eggman continues his retreat across the battleship, Shadow chasing after him, avoiding the attacks mostly, but Tails also striking any of the weak spots he can notice, and each time he does, it gives Shadow an opening to strike the vulnerable mechanics underneath. Exploding from the ship beneath the fight, Team Dark arrive, blasting out through a heat of wave and energy and landing on the surface, in between Shadow and the Egg Emperor.
Ah! Finally! I thought we were never going to get out of there.
Target detected. Looks like we're just in time. Rouge turns around to see that Shadow's also here. Oh, looks like you got to him first. But don't worry, we'll take care of it here.
What, as if I'm gonna just sit around and do nothing?
Eggman launches a counterattack, shooting a barrage of missiles from the machine towards them. Keep focused on Eggman. The four of them dodge the blasts and then chase after him. Meanwhile, Tails shoots a couple more missiles into the robot's head to mess with its targeting systems. While Sonic runs, he looks up.
Ha! Who's that?
That's Tails, someone you used to know quite well.
Interesting. With their combined assault, the Egg Emperor is pushed back towards the base of the command tower. Nowhere left to run. Its shield arm is sparking, and its lance has lost a lot of its mass. It's clearly on its final legs.
You know nothing, fools! My plan cannot be stopped!
Yeah, let him have it, Omega. Request acknowledged. Omega blasts the Egg Emperor with everything he has left, sundering its armor and breaking it down into pieces of scrap metal. It shatters onto the ground with a massive crash, lying broken and defeated at the base of the command tower. Sonic jumps up to pat Omega on the back. Yeah, nice one! Now we just need to drag him out of there and find out what's really going on around here. I couldn't agree more, Shadow says as he stomps past them. Team Dark share a glance with one another and then run up as well. Tails, on the other hand, uses the long stretch of battleship to land his tornado as he dismounts to head towards them, and sees up ahead the distinct blue quills of his long-lost friend. Sonic? This catches the Blue Blur's attention, and he looks over his shoulder. Huh? What he sees is a strange orangish fox with twin tails running towards him, tears balling in the corners of his eyes. Sonic! It's you! He slides to a stop in front of Sonic and looks at him smiling as he flicks some of the tears out of his own eyes. I can't believe you're back! Where have you been? Sonic looks at him with confusion, not the warm familiarity Tails had expected. What's wrong? Man, this feels like a broken record, he says as he scratches his head. I have no idea who you are. Huh? I have my memories. They're gone. Sorry. Oh, your memories are gone. But you're with Rouge and Shadow. Shadow flicks a glance towards Tails. I didn't find him. She did. Perhaps there's a better time to discuss this than now. And the bat focuses towards the pile where Eggman can be seen limply flopped out to the side. Sorry, kid. You'll have to wait a little bit. I'm trying to see if Eggman knows about my past. And Sonic goes back over towards the scrap heap. Tails reaches for Sonic, but he cuts himself off and instead goes over towards the robot as well. There is certainly a better time for this than right now. And yet, whilst all of this was going on, the Team Chaotix Detective Agency have been snooping around, finding the secret accessway to one of the secret passages of the central control tower, and within it, they locate a sealed room, the location presumably of their client.
This is it. Let's set him free.
Yeah, hey, big time!
Hold on, boys. This might get a bit complicated.
Vector slaps the panel and the door slides open to reveal that their client was the one and only Dr. Eggman. He looks up and a wave of happiness washes over his mustached face.
At last! I thought I'd never see the day again! Well done, detectives.
Dr. Eggman?
We've been serving the evil genius?
Vector folds his arms.
So, what's the full story here, Robotnik? This isn't what it seems. I truly was in your need. You have my gratitude.
If what you say is true, then the one thing I can't piece together is why you're in this place to begin with.
Who locked you up in here?
It was somebody that will have to wait for next time, because this is the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Everyone is now all together aboard the final fortress, and with Dr. Eggman both defeated and rescued, that only means there can be one thing left to deal with. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It really helps me out, and if you enjoyed your time here, please leave a like, comment and subscribe down below, and if you want to further assist me, please share this video around to those who may enjoy. So with that all said and done, I hope you have a great day and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor signing off.